Here I wouldn't be standing at all if not for all that you've done and continue to do for me and our family. Thank you so much. As well, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank my in-laws for coming. As was mentioned, it's not a simple task to get the Willigs in one place for more than a day or two, especially Columbus, Ohio. So thank you very much, Abba and Ima, for coming and truly making this extended weekend, as I've been calling it, a truly uplifting experience for myself, for our family. And I can say on behalf of the entire Columbus Jewish community, thank you so, so much. I think this is on video, so I want to say hello to Grandma Jerry, watching from afar, and I want to recall the memory of my Bubby Dora, who just passed away a few months ago, and all of our respective grandparents. Quickly, also like to thank all the dedicated volunteers who made this journey through Jerusalem a wonderful experience enjoyed by all. Personally, like to thank the Ad Book Committee, who worked tirelessly. Rabbi, you want to make the dinner in June? It's crazy. Pesach, what's going to be? Thank God they pulled it off. It was very successful. Thank you very much. I would be remiss if I didn't express my gratitude to Rabbi Morris, the Rosh Kollel, who believed in me, brought me to this wonderful community, and trained me and gave me many, many wonderful opportunities to learn, and opportunities to teach. And I feel privileged to live in a community that has a kollel, a wonderful asset, and all of us should continue to take advantage of the fact that it's in our midst, just in our backyard. I'd like to recognize my rabbinical colleagues who are with me in the room, Rabbi Goldstein, Rabbi Zach. I've had the privilege and the pleasure of servicing our community together with them, and it's a great blessing to have such talented partners. Acharon Chaviv. I would like to express thanks to my dear wife Shira, for her tireless efforts on behalf of our shul and her unstinting support and encouragement. Perhaps it can be debated if you got a rabbi, but one thing is for sure, you definitely got a rebbitzin. So as Rabbi Steinberg relayed, thank God a lot has been happening over this past year. And all I have, the sentiments that I've been thinking about is that's the amount of work for an interim rabbi. I don't necessarily think that I know what I'm getting into as a full rabbi. So this is an installation. I decided I should do a little bit of research. What indeed does it mean to be installed? There's no particular computer programs for this type of event. I discovered that installator in Hebrew, it means a plumber. And then it all started to make sense. What is my vision for Congregation Ahavas Shalom? Ahavas Shalom, for over 100 years, has always stood as a communal pillar, representing spiritual growth, setting high standards in the realm of Torah study and tefillah. My vision is that Ahavas Shalom uphold its esteemed reputation, while simultaneously enabling it to become an open and engaging institution for the community at large. What's the recipe for such an idealistic vision? I believe that a successful future for our wonderful shul is ensured when all members of the community, young and old, are equally cared for and made welcome. In Ivrit, lihitkadem, to progress, to advance, comes from the word kedem, as in chadesh yameinu kekedem. Renew the days of old. We must infuse the traditions of old with a youthful energy in order to ensure our perpetuation. And I believe that there is a precedent for such a model. The very first place to ever contain Hashem's presence, as it were, was the Mishkan. As we know, there were two primary contributors to its physical construction: Moshe Rabbeinu and Bezalel. At the time, Moshe was 82 years old, and was the absolute paragon of spirituality and piety. Bezalel, the Gemara teaches us, was a young lad. He was only 13 years old. I believe that we're being taught a profound lesson with this information. A lesson about bringing the Shekhinah into our midst. Moshe represents the sagacious, sensible leader, and Bezalel, the burst of youthfulness. Moreover, the holiest place of all, the Kodesh HaKodashim, was the place of the Aron Kodesh. And on top of the Holy Ark, we had the Keruvim. We are taught that the faces of the Keruvim were that of children, hence the expression cherubic faces. I quote you the beautiful language of Rav Soloveitchik. The child is endowed with the capacity of an all-absorbing faith and trustfulness. Youth bursts with zealousness, idealism, and optimism. The adult, mellowed with years, has the benefit of accumulated knowledge and dispassionate judgment. The Gemara writes that the coinage of Avraham Avinu, our forefather, had an elderly couple on one side and a young couple on the other. The Maharsha understands that both images represented Avraham and his lifelong partner Sarah. Just like the flip sides of the same coin, Abraham and Sarah possessed the enthusiasm and revolutionary spirit of a young person and the maturity of someone who was aged. Through synthesizing both of these traits, they were able to succeed in their endeavor of positively influencing others, and they energetically changed the world's concept of religion. With Shavuos just 1 week underway, I'd like to share what I believe is a very poignant idea. We're all familiar with the grand scene of Matan Torah. You open up to Parshas Yisro, supernatural thunder and lightning, powerful shofar sounds, trembling of the mountain, marking Hashem's presence. If you turn to the end of the following parsha in Mishpatim, according to Rashi, we have yet another account of the giving of the Torah. The description is one of preparing the Mizbeach, the altar for numerous karbanos, the sprinkling of their blood upon the people, Moshe's ascent to the top of the mountain. And in this scene, presumably the people stand quietly, waiting to be crowned by the sprinkling of the blood that marks the new covenant. Two very different images of the same story. Perhaps it's this very notion, this coexistence of youthfulness, of action, of energy, of drama, together with a sense of piety and patience and fealty. That's the true context for the receiving of the Torah and for climbing true spiritual heights. Journey through Jerusalem. I had the privilege of speaking to my brother just today on the phone from Jerusalem. And he relayed to me what I thought was a very beautiful thought. The word Yerushalayim, Jerusalem. If there are any grammarians, maybe you appreciate that if you want to relay something in Hebrew, in the plural form, you want to say telephone. How do you say it in plural? Telephonim. There are a few exceptions. A pair of scissors, misparayim. A pair of socks, garbayim. Yerushalayim. As was mentioned, Yerushalayim is a place of togetherness, pairing together. And for us in Ahavas Shalom, where we constantly look to model after the holy city of Yerushalayim and its ideals, means pairing together the old and the young, the patient and the not so patient, all together, creating a home of spirituality. In closing, I'd like to just share the following anecdote. Dagan Wortman, Hashem Yikam Damo, was an officer in the IDF. He was unfortunately killed in Operation Cast Fleet in Gaza just under 10 years ago. His family related, one morning after being up all night training in the Negev, he went and woke up all of his soldiers. Get up, we have to go, we have to go. The soldiers complained, we just fell asleep. Can you cut us some slack? Leave us alone, where are we going? Dagan persevered, and they began hiking in the open desert. True story. After a few minutes, they asked their officer, where are we going? Where are you bringing us? Dagan answered, today is Yom Yerushalayim. We're going to Jerusalem. After walking for half an hour, he stopped, put down his bags, put down his rifle, and he said, we've arrived. He passed out snacks. They celebrated Yom Yerushalayim.